Fallout has a lot of weapons. A lot of them are pretty cool, but it also has some weapons that really aren't more than a rubber glove locked inside of a DLC. So let's see if we can beat the game with it. I forgot to give myself a name, customized my character, assigning special points. I put 9 into luck to raise all skills, 8 strength for more melee damage, 9 intelligence for more skill points, and left perception and endurance high enough to give me some more perk options when leveling. After distributing stats and picking the skill trait, I take all of Doc Mitchell's loot to sell for supplies so I can begin my journey. Firstly, the issue arises of where you get the Scientist's Glove, which is only found in the Old World Blues DLC, which much like the gang life, once you're in, you don't get out until the very end. So the issue is, am I going to complete an entire DLC for a weapon, with the weapon, just so I can get to the main campaign, when I could just attempt to spawn it in? If you've been watching me for a while, I greatly appreciate your boundless patience, and you know that I am insane enough to do this. That's right, I lied to you this whole time, or all, 50 seconds of this? This is actually the first part of the adventures of Dr. Gobsmackle, PhD, beating Old World Blues with just Scientist's Glove. I break into the saloon to retrieve more goods, reloading the save because I thought I could get lucky on the first attempt, went towards the Cazador nest to avoid having to go all the way around to Vegas, drugged myself to cure the pain while Victor D'd his last howl. Then, of course, I realized I went the wrong way, so I reloaded the save to let Victor get the last laugh. Then made my way over to the Mojave Drive-In, but my game crashed right when I got there. I really don't know why, but throughout this playthrough, something went wrong with the game and it crashes every 15 minutes or so, and I had to keep relaunching it over and over again. So if I ever do mention a crash, it just happens to be at a notable moment, or else this video will be at least 50% longer than it needs to be. So with my preparations complete, I start the DLC, watched the long-ass video, then had the long-ass conversation with the Futurama Drama Llamas, where I leveled up a few times after looting around because the wiki said a glove could spawn in a container in this room. Lo and behold, one does appear, and so once I sell the last of my crap to the sink vendor, the party can get started by fighting with a couple of bottomites. The weapon doesn't feel that weak to use, but I am on normal difficulty with quite a few unarmed points. I walk towards the objective when the game crashes, and I have to fight again. The problems with Fallout Melee being apparent, but VATS being able to bypass their blocks while doing more damage is helpful. Found some good weapons to sell. Found some combat armor, which I won't wear for as long as you might think. Game crashed. I tried to see if the mods were the issue, but even after completely uninstalling them and reinstalling the game, it's still just fucked. Got into a fight with a Robo-Brain where the real downside of the weapon became apparent, as anything mildly tanky really does stand more than a chance against me. But with persistence, VATS, and a lot of stim packs, it's not impossible to fare against them or the Robo-Dogs. Put poison on the glove to see what happens. Not much it seems, and I taught Fido how to do a flip. Fought another Robo-Brain. Staying in their grill really seems to help avoid damage. Leveled up and got the educated perk before moving on to the medical building and encountering my greatest rival who challenges the amount of credentials to my name. I promise to return with a vengeance when the game crashes. Sell more things before fighting more lobotomites while I wander around trying to figure out what I actually need to do since I kind of wasn't paying attention to the conversation with the scientist earlier. Followed the marker to the underground hot spring and got a module for the sink, looted what I could, and was attacked by Mr. Gutsy when I made the mistake of putting distance between us to fight the mental patient, which got me shot up pretty good, and when I was about to win he called for reinforcements, at which point I gave up and was rewarded with an awkward close-up. Went to the produce section to knock some cabbage heads together, but was still being chased by the robot gardeners. Trying to box with them for a while as they tried to box me in, but eventually called it a draw after my medical supplies about ran out. Hid on top of a building, found the final area, went to a different cave and crashed, encountered the giant legendary bloatfly, which while I looted the final area, I got stuck with being absolutely aimbotted by the damn thing for way longer than I actually wanted to admit until I managed to escape. Tried to rematch the simulated surgeon, who removed my glove from its socket. Went to Higgs Village and found Dr. Klein's glove, found an Edgeworth's man cave, and ascended the tower by killing the Protectrons guarding it to follow my map marker. Dr. Klein's glove dealing more damage than I thought would be beneficial, but after removing the antenna from the top, my hopes of things getting easier instantly vanished once the Robo-Scorpions were introduced. While the little ones can still be killed relatively quickly, they still take massive chunks out of my health, while the big ones are complete damage sponges, which can take about 30 seconds to kill each. Found a lobotomite Leatherface cave cult, which I had fun killing for their valuables, and leveled up to pick the toughness perk before the game crashed and I had to do all of it again. Took out a sentry bot faster than I thought I would, went back to the sink to get money for medicine, including upgrading the Saturnite fists to make them more expensive, got ragdolled by some dogs and a robot third-partyist, tried to use everything that I could to potentially save me but died. Got them all the second time, the robots seem to take a lot more damage than the dogs do now. Cleared out the lab of its nerdbot inhabitants, went up to the village to wait for a few days so the sink's inventory could refill, Filled up my medication box for my first day back to school, where the rabies statistics are higher than the state average. Leveled up and learned that punching gives you slight telekinesis, so I stood on top of things to stay out of the bite radius of the canine population. Died a few times, became president of the Michael Vick Club, got through the tunnel area to get to the boss fight with the big dog, and vaxxed my way to victory. Left before the supposed explosion took place and the game crashed. After going back in there to get the thingy, there were robo-scorpions abound, which was annoying. Of course, this was repeated outside, and since these are going to be here for the rest of the game, I'm probably going to start skipping over them in a word or two unless something neat happens, like me teleporting behind one and out of danger to kill it. Traded more things and went to a hologram building that I didn't even remember going to, traversed the Halo Infinite to get my Cortana suit, who was definitely one of the only reasons I didn't lose my sanity in this playthrough, despite my attempts to repeatedly reduce, reuse, and recycle my brain cells into the perpetual motion machine of ideas generated to psychologically torture myself. Leveled up with the Here and Now perk, wondered if the Klein glove was too strong or if it didn't qualify, repeatedly replenished the store to stock up since the suit really likes sticking needles in me, encountered the Hellspawn that aren't quite Cazadors but still up there in the stupidity of how much damage I take from them. But I guess it's my fault for trying to rationalize a coyote and rattlesnake hybrid not being a menace to nature. Killed more in the test building to unlock the next step of the test. The same trick works just as well. Leveled up again for the piercing hand weapon arts. Abused pathfinding once again to put some distance between us. Got to the final terminal and it didn't quite end up high enough. Waited with my Halo to fully heal. Thought I had found the final terminal at least, but as it turns out, the game is definitely not bug-free as the computer is missing. Nothing I could do actually helped, including console commands, so I had to reload a save to get out of there. Made the mistake of going outside, then the mistake of buying repairs for my armor. Got ambushed by the Night Stalkers and trying to take the high road was a good way to get me crippled. Abused geometry once more to deal with them. Kept buying supplies but got ambushed once more by some lobotomites, which I can appreciate for giving some more spending cash. Was introduced to the skeletons with plasma guns, only one at first but wandered into a whole club of dead men walking to rattle their bones. I would have actually preferred if these guys were the main enemies of the DLC instead of the Lobots and Robots. Something about them just feels much more enjoyable to fight, and I feel like they don't deal too much damage either despite being a rarer enemy type. Back out in the wild, I'm instantly refreshed on the annoyances of the snake dogs, more dry bones and Mars attack suits, which was easy. Then sought vengeance against my rival in educational tiles to strip him of all of his degrees bound in sheet metal from him and his orderlies. Got destroyed by a dog, ran back into the radio tower to hide from the automated arachnids. Stepping back out once I was ready to face them, I became entangled in a three-way conflict between the Scorpion, skeleton crew, and mental patients. A few more crashes and waiting to restock. Some fighting here and there. More crashes. Went out looking for variances of the Glove Fist and at least got a green Jolly Rancher one that supposedly deals poison damage, but it isn't really apparent if it does or doesn't work. Found a damaged Securitron and then invaded their production line to decommission them permanently. Tried to redo the test from earlier to see if I could get it to work this time. Ended up doing the wrong one, died some, and leveled up again to get the Purifier perk, which at least would make me feel a bit better about facing more biological freaks of science. Restocked, more fights, game crashed. Immediately felt better about getting the Purifier perk when killing some Night Stalkers was just that much faster. Redid the test and the computer still didn't spawn, so I gave up on that and went to level up the stealth suit, which wasn't difficult. Fought Scorpions. On the last test it got difficult with the proximity alarms that I couldn't quickly pinpoint their location, but got all of them done in little time. After getting all the technologies that I guess I needed to enter the final area and adding to the hopefully growing records of Night Stalker eradication, I leveled up with the Better Criticals perk to go back to the think tank to enact the plan, which is basically just to walk right into the front fucking door, but I will need to really make sure I'll have enough supplies to be able to fight the final boss, including getting some goodies to sell from the occasional mob that I have to fight while doing so, which fueled my Stimpak addiction. Entering the lair of Morbius, I get morbed all over right at the start by the laser of the oversized Power Rangers toy, juicing up repeatedly just so I can wail on the damn thing where it pinches at me. My suit trying to keep up, but it feels like the Stimpaks are nerfed when it's done automatically. But as I feel like I'm able to box this thing to death, it decides to pull this fucking bullshit. Keep fighting, trying to do what I can do with my limited tool set and get the damn thing to happen again. Finally, I managed to get lucky enough that I can just stick to the side of it and punch it to death. Talk to Mobius, have a conversation with myself until we work something out. Then wanted to try to end things peacefully between the scientists. I can definitely punch out all of them much easier than any other enemy, but for my roleplay reasons, I want to end this by having the formerly once greatest minds of humanity to exist for my benefit, which now ends this chapter of the challenge by beating the Old World Blue section using only the Scientist Glove. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave a like and comment. If you want to be notified of the next video, then please click the subscribe button. Thank you for my long-term viewers for having the patience to deal with my sporadic upload schedule and for keeping me going in all of this. I hope you all have a good one. Harshin out. Harshin out. There, that was much more enthusiastic.